Okay, so we're back in my kitchen again, and it's time to continue the kitchen renovation series, if I should be so grand as to call it that. The next part I have to work on is working on the countertop. Now, because my countertop has two different depth dimensions, I can't just go out and buy a new Formica countertop and put it in place. So if I had different cupboards, perhaps I could have done this differently, but with the cupboards I have and the space that I have to work with what's here. So that means that the cupboards on this side, this piece from here to the back is 24 inches. On this piece, where my computer is sitting here, from front to back is only 18 inches. So in order to get a piece of Formica custom made to work for the space that I have and working with those transitions, I'd be looking at an extra $300 or $400 to get it custom ordered, plus the time. The time is much more important to me at this point than what the money would be. Not that I could afford extra $300 or $400 on top of the countertop itself. I'd still have to buy the countertop and have it custom made, and it's just too much frustration. So what I'm going to do is lay down a tile countertop. The first part of that is first step I need to do for that is to remove the sink from the old countertop and start laying down plywood on top of the cupboards. I'm going to need 2 layers of plywood in order to have a nice stable base. I need to screw both of those together, and I need to figure out exactly where I'm going to put my sink inside that space. Then I should soon be ready after that to start working on the tile part. So let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is take out this sink and countertop. The easiest way to do that is to pull the whole unit up off of the counter, up off of the cupboard, and disengage the sink from there. That way I don't have to crawl under the cupboard to get at it. That doesn't mean it'll be easy. Suddenly worried that I didn't let the water out of the pea trapping underneath. I got it. You imagine trying to undo those bolts while up and under the cabinet, up in the cupboard. Very difficult. So now I should just be able to pop the sink loose. Alright, so I'm back inside. It's quite windy out there today. The only benefit to it, of course, is that it's blowing the sawdust away as fast as the saw can make it. So, here's my first layer. This isn't complete, and everything I understand about laying down tiles seems to say the same thing. You need a really strong subfloor. In this case, I don't know what you call it, but you need a very strong layer in order to lay all that weight of tile on. So this is what my countertop is starting to look like. Nothing impressive just yet. It's a piece of 5/8 inch plywood. Runs all the way over to the corner here. I have a bit of an ugly join here, but it's tight. I'll be able to push it together a bit more once I start screwing things down. And that'll probably get you a bit better of a view. So it's nice and tight over to here. It's a little rough on this edge, but that's fine. I can smooth that out yet. And I scribed the lines on the inside the corner here and against the wall in here, so that you can so that my plywood gets tight up against the wall. Now on the edge, I got it cut mostly flush. I think I'm a little off in a couple of spots, but I'm not sure that I'm going to let that bother me too much. So here's what the countertop looks like so far. Right now it's a double layer of plywood with junk all over the place because that's the way it goes. 1/2 inch on top, and there's 5/8 inch on the underside. The join for the 5/8 is right here, and the join for the 1/2 inch is over here. That's important to note. We don't want the joints to line up exactly. So right here you see the next part of my project. This is a cardboard template I made of my sink, and I think this is about where I want it. I gotta do some measuring, make sure I have it even from the back wall over here. Let's see. You can just see the mark here. That's the edge of the cabinet. So I know I don't want to be right over on top of that. I don't want to cut into the edge of the cabinet. That'd be a bad mistake. So I want to come off of there. I need to be off of the back and centered from the front as much as I can. So it's about 3 inches from both sides on the back. On the front, that's just about 3 inches, so that's looking okay for that. It's about 4.5 inches off of the edge of the cabinet. That should be okay. On the edge over here where you can just see my jigsaw, I'll have enough room to lay down some dishes to be washed. About 14 inches. Now, if I go and draw out this outline of the sink and cut it out, my sink will fall into the cabinet below. You do know why, right? As I said, this is a template of the top of my sink. I need to draw this out, and then I need to come in about 1/2 inch. Now mind you, I know I could easily cut this template 1/2 inch less and do it that way. Just draw it out and cut it. No big deal at all. But that's not the way I'm going to choose to do it. I'm going to choose to do it to draw it out the full size and then mark where I want it. This was important to me for the simple fact that this shows me exactly where the sink is going to sit. Finished product right on the countertop. This is the way the sink will sit. The divide is about here in the middle, and this should look good. I even had to cut out here for the taps so that this piece would fold up so I can get the cardboard around it. That much is all well and good. So next step, after I've already talked to my wife about this and make sure that she's happy with this, next step is to draw out this template and get cutting. Alright, I'm not sure how well that's going to come up on camera. It's only pencil, but I can see the line pretty good here. Actually, I'm going to bring my line in by a whole inch That way I'm going to have lots of leftover. I might have to make 2 and 3 passes of this. I'm alright with that, because I'd rather keep this tight and have to make more adjustments in order to get it to work, instead of having it too loose and trying to figure out a way to support the sink and the weight of the tile once the tile is on here. Now, it doesn't really matter where you drill your starting hole. You just need to get started. It helps to drill extra holes anywhere you're going to have to make a sharper turn. So this is one of those cases where you keep trying until you get it just right. I'll keep taking off just a little bit at a time until I get it nice and tight. Alright, so that's it for now. The sink is fitted and I'm mostly happy with the way it turned out. Looks pretty good. real test to see if the wife will like the way it's turned out. In a future video, I'm going to be installing ceramic tile on the top of this countertop. I have a little bit of work left to do on getting this countertop ready for that. I have to go over all the edges with a flush trim bit on a router in order to make all the edges even. I have to cut some thin strips to give myself an edge in here to put ceramic tiles around the edge of the countertop. And I have to borrow a tile cutting saw from a friend of my brother's in order to be able to cut the tiles. After that is to hook up the plumbing, and this job might actually get finished. You're as amazed as I am. So I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you'll hit the subscribe button, like, thumbs up, share, all of that stuff. I'll see you later. Go do something.